traffic's jammed back west of Wright City. They may best bet is to get off at Wright City and take the service road, although the South Service Road is a little congested, but you can't get through. It looks like there's a restriction on the westbound side of Veterans Memorial Parkway at that point. In westbound 70, the left lane was blocked at the scene. It's hard for me to tell if it still is. Westbound 70, though, is a solid jam back to David Hochul Parkway. There's also a crash westbound 70 at 64, so there's a little bit of a backup there. 64 is jammed back to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. As a matter of fact, westbound 64 in the city, Kings Highway out to Big Bend is bumper to bumper. South T70, Ladue down through Manchester and south of 44 to Tesson Ferry's busy. South 170 slow at the Ladue. Eastbound 64 east to Lindbergh and Big Bend's heavy. Westbound 64, that road work at 158 has thinned out. I'm Roger Brand in the Michael's Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers, an important decision, and should not be based solely on advertising.
News, traffic, and the latest from the world of sports. This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Guys, welcome into Monday here on Rush Hour Sports. Bernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Hello, fellas. Welcome to Christmas week. How's everybody doing?
Christmas spirit. I am.
Yeah?
Yeah, I am. I'm just listening to Christmas music while writing today and stuff, so that's
Nice.
good. It's all good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Matt, you got a little
Fire
tree in the background
rescue
behind you there, buddy?
crews and a dive
Uh-oh.
team will respond.
So
Go ahead, Matt.
we got a little tree. You know what? I've got two young daughters, so
Yeah, you guys are all in
everybody's
it.
excited about Christmas in our household. They were doing some cookie baking today with my wife, so we definitely have the Christmas spirit in the Pauley house.
I'll be over about 6:30 for cookies.
We got lots. my wife does not skimp when it comes
That's
to
good.
making cookies and things.
That's awesome. Well, we all, for a couple weeks there, transitioning to the baseball offseason, we all had a couple of weeks of like, gosh, we want some stuff to happen. Well, look, last week we got Dustin May. That was a lot of fun to talk about. Today we've got a trade executed between the Cards and the Red Sox. It was broken. The story broke last night of Wilson Contreras going to the Red Sox, but the report today is Wilson Contreras plus the ever-famous cash considerations going to the Red Sox in exchange for three really nice arms. And Hunter Dobbins, who is major league caliber, coming off a knee injury, but he's supposed to be ready for spring training. And then a couple of kids, one of whom has really high upside. I think, guys, it fits the vision. We've both talked about this. We've all talked about this together, except separately. You guys weren't together, but I've talked with both of you today, and we all seem to agree. This fits the vision. It makes sense. It's not the greatest thing in the world as a fan when there's a rebuild, but when there's a rebuild, there's a good way to do it, and this is the way.
Yeah, like we were talking about today on the Dave Glover show. The interesting thing about the Sonny Gray trade and the Wilson Contreras trade, Bill DeWitt signed off on, sending the two trades combined, $28 million to the Red Sox. And I know some people were confused by that. I wasn't at all. I mean, by deferring some of the salaries being owed to those two guys, the Cardinals were able to get better access to prospects that Hein Bloom wanted. Mm-hmm. And so that's a worthwhile investment. They got a higher level of prospects. So we were talking today, and I'll just be really quick about this. To me, these two trades, because I got to put them together. We'll get more into Contreras specifically, but what you want to do is amass as much depth, young talent, controllable talent as you can, and hope you hit on enough of them. Well, so the Cardinals traded Sonny Gray, who had 1 year left on a Cardinals contract. They weren't going to pick up the option. And Wilson Contreras, who had 2 years left on his contract, they weren't going to pick up the option. So Hein Bloom traded 3 years of contract control, 3 years of contract control with those two guys. And in the 5 pitchers that he got, he also picked up 30 seasons of contract control.
It's great.
And that's exactly the kind of trades you make. It sets you up. It sets you up nicely.
It's what you do in a rebuild, and they get a nice piece that you can throw into the rotation now, and they need Kevin, you and I were talking about earlier, something that this team has been missing in recent years is back end of the rotation who are cost controllable guys. They were spending so much on the rotation in recent years and not getting any bang for their buck. So they're able to bring in a guy who can go in the rotation. You bring in a couple more young players, and you see what ends up happening with them. It's a numbers game. It's all about getting as much young talent as possible. One of the pitchers, Fajardo, I think is how you say his last name. He's going to slot into the top 10 in terms of Cardinals prospects, and that's good. He's the second guy. Like if everybody's talking about Dobbins being the centerpiece of the deal, well, if the non-centerpiece of the deal is still a guy who's a top 10 prospect in your organization, then it's a good trade.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this earlier, Bern. I mean, you talked to Keith Law today. I read his piece on The Athletic, and I thought what he said about Fajardo. And look, Dobbins is the quote-unquote headliner because he's the recognizable name who's appeared in the major leagues and who will likely be in the major leagues this year if he's healthy. But when you look at Fajardo, I really liked what Keith had to say about him.
Yeah, like the kid made amazing progress last year at age 18.
Yeah.
He would pitch so well early in their development league team. He made 6 starts and they moved him up to low A and he dominated. And he'll pitch next season in A ball, maybe move up to high A at age 19. And his stuff became really dynamic. Like all of a sudden, everything's coming together. So what Keith Law says is that if I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, Fajardo. Yeah,
Fajardo. I always want to throw that J in there.
I did say Fajardo. Yeah.
Sorry, I feel bad. I'm a little punchy tonight.
It's all good. We all are. It's Christmas week.
Fajardo, if he was coming into the draft this year, which obviously he's not, Keith Law thinks he'd be a first round pick. He's that good. So I was pretty fired up to see that. And about Hunter Dobbins, the interesting thing about him, not to get too deep into weeds, although I know Wheels likes this stuff.
I love the weeds.
The thing I don't understand about him, he throws 95.5.
Yep.
But he doesn't really throw a sinker. And he basically relies heavily on the four seam and the slider. And it doesn't matter how hard he throws, major league hitters are going to hit it if it's flat and it comes in straight. They absolutely murder his four-seam fastball. What I don't understand is he throws it over 40% of the time. It's a lousy pitch.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Heim Bloom and the fellas have figured out, wait a minute, whoa. This guy's going all about everything's backwards here. We got to get him throwing a bigger variety of pitches,
right?
Instead of hitters just waiting to tee off on that fastball that comes in straight.
Yeah.
I think they can do that. I think they can do that.
Totally agree. And I think that some of what you see in a young guy like that, again, young is relative. He's 26, but last year was his first major league experience. Right. And you're just going to fall back on what you're most comfortable with. And most pitchers on the planet are most comfortable with their four-seam fastball because you've thrown it since you were 8. So, I agree with you. I think changing the pitch mix a little bit. He started throwing a little bit of a splitter that he didn't use very often, but it was effective when he used it. He's got a sweeper that you could probably use more often than the slider because it was more effective. The point is, you've got something to work with as a guy that's averaging 95.5 and who can spin it a little bit. And, when you look at it, Matt, this is going to have to be a calling card for the new Cardinals. And that is taking guys like this, taking some of the other players they've gotten in these deals and find ways to make them a little bit better.
That's the organizational just mantra right now is how do you make guys the best version of themselves or a lot closer to it? And it's something that the Cardinals have not been very good at in recent years, unfortunately. It was something that, from a pitching perspective, was so good with Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan. They were so good at finding the advantages, and unfortunately, as the industry has moved forward, the Cardinals did not keep up. I think this is a passion for Bloom. I asked him at the winter meetings about how he feels like things are going in terms of the organization being able to be in that spot, and he said he was very proud of the work that's been done over the last year, everything that's been done, but that he's never going to be content. He's never going to be happy, that he always feels like there's more that can be done to help players become, again, that best version of themselves. It's crazy that you don't invest in that area because you spend so much money on the players. and the amount of money that you have to spend to do the things to really help them is a drop in the bucket compared to their salaries, and you're not doing that. So they're going to start doing that now. They started it a little bit this past year, and that's going to go a long way towards both development, but also, you know what, if there's a major league guy who has lost his way, if the Cardinals become an organization that once again is known for helping guys find their way again, yes, that can, there's a lot riding on Dustin May this year. If he gets it going again, that's the first domino in teams seeing what the Cardinals can do to help pitchers.
Absolutely. A lot more to talk about with all of this, and we want to try to slip in at least a little bragging rights here as we get towards the end of the show as well. But so much good baseball. We're going to continue with that next up, and maybe we can get into, I don't want to say what the lineup's going to be. It's too early, but obviously Contreras is out, and Donovan's going to be out. So opens up something for Burley, and I don't know, maybe you get Herrera some first base reps at some point so you can find that man a position. We got some other things to talk about with these Cardinals moves coming up next here on KMOX.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. And people say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So, looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Here's the tale of Tina, searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Till Good RX wrote in, hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags that are red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Hotfoot at thegoodrx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
No one remembers the tie, the sweater, or the pair of socks they received last year for the holidays, but they will remember the year they learned how to play the piano. Hi, this is Kathy from Lacefield Music. And every year in January, Lacefield Music opens their exciting and innovative 8-week adult piano classes to the public for the incredible price of only $29.99 for all 8 weeks. This class is usually $100, but in January, the classes will be $29.99 for all 8 weeks. With Lacefield Music's adult piano classes, you will learn how to read music, play your favorite songs, and you will play with both your right and your left hand the very first week. This year, instead of buying your loved one more things, buy them an experience and fulfill the dream of learning to play the piano. Class sizes are limited and are filling fast, so call 636-778-2070 for more information or go to lacefieldmusic.com. That's lacefieldmusic.com to sign up.
Hey guys, Dave Glover here from the Dave Glover Show. So, what is my show? My show is 4 different people living 4 different lives, all coming together every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. to talk about life, actual life, not so much headlines or did you see what Trump did today or XYZ. Never predictable because I never know what I'm going to talk about from one segment to the next. So it truly is unique and unpredictable. Join us.
104.1 FM, KMOX. Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, the focal point continues to be eastbound 70 west of Forestell. It's closed due to a reported fatality. Pedestrian struck crash. They're diverting traffic off at Wright City, so eastbound 70 is jammed from the Wright City rest area into Wright City, and then unfortunately folks are stuck just east of Wright City proper in that jam up to that point before Forestel. The South Service Road Veterans Memorial Parkway is pretty congested, and it looks like there's a pretty good backup westbound 70 there, only back to about David Hokel Parkway westbound. There are no longer any westbound lane restrictions. Westbound 64, you're on the brakes from Kings Highway. It's slow all the way to Big Bend, and then in St. Charles County, it's a solid jam from 364 out to 70 because of an earlier crash. South 270 still busy, 64 down to Doherty Ferry and a little slow approaching Gravois. South 170 backs up at Ladue. North 170 south of the Rock Road, we have an injury crash. It's jammed back at Page, and there's also a crash on the Rock Road at 170 as well. I'm Roger Brand in the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Take it to Telly.
One little light can stall out your entire day, the check engine light. So I reached out to my go-to problem solver. Dad, what do? He didn't miss a beat. Take it to Telly, he said. So I did. But they didn't just fix my car, they fixed my day. Take it to Telly.
This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, good to be with you here on a Monday on Rush Hour Sports. Bernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Matt's going to be jumping off here in a few minutes to get to the press conference. So Chaim Bloom's got a press conference today to talk about the Wilson Contreras trade. So Matt's going to jump off. And then, Matt, if there's some juicy stuff in there, you can pop back on and let us know what it is.
Yeah, we'll see how long it goes. They generally go 15, 20 minutes. So if they start on time, it should give me for a few minutes to come back in at the end.
Nice. Well, so far, and we don't have to, again, I'm not talking about playing lineup games here, but so far we've seen quite a bit of change in the roster. And it sounds like we all anticipate even more, whether it's JoJo Romero, eventually Nolan Arenado, maybe Brendan Donovan, probably Brendan Donovan. I think that it's the turnover, maybe more than like how do you fit pieces in where? We're getting a lot of questions saying who's in left field. It's too early. We don't know. There are going to be a lot of changes. If Donovan stays, maybe it's him. But if he goes, who knows whether Newt's going to be healthy. I know this. Seems like a really good spot for Alec Burleson to settle in quite a bit at first base. But maybe a spot to give Ivan Herrera a position that he can occasionally sit at where it's not going to, you're not forcing anything defensively and you can get that bat without having him be a DH at 25 years old.
Hey, if Wilson Contreras can make the transition to first the way he did, very admirable. Ivan Herrera moves pretty well. Yeah. He's not a slow, lumbering, heavy-footed guy. I don't know why they wouldn't have him working with the first base glove just to let him start to get acquainted with the position. Absolutely, I agree with you. And if they're going to keep Nolan Gorman, they need to give him a first base glove
too. Great point.
Just so he can move around more.
Yeah.
If he's going to be on the team, you're going to want to get him in the lineup. If he can play first, he can play second, he can play third. You can move him around, even if he's not an everyday starter.
Yeah, and Matt, we've talked a lot. I don't know if he fits as a long-term impact player, but at some point you do need to get some look at Sajasi more regularly too, right? And if these guys can play some first, then he can play some third or some second or whatever, depending on who's where. And I think the key is, again, not trying to figure out the lineup now. There's way too much that's still up in the air. But the point is they have options and they have the ability to be creative.
Yeah, so JC at second and third. Sounds like they might use him a little bit in the outfield in spring training, finally. That's something that they need to do with somebody of his profile. If you're Ivan Herrera and they trust you enough to catch and play a little bit of left field, you're athletic enough to play over at first base. I've been around some baseball people that feel like if you can catch, you can play third. And if you can play third, you can play first. So, if you start pushing the dominoes down, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. He's not going to be a Gold Glove first baseman, but he wasn't a Gold Glove catcher. So that doesn't doesn't really impact things.
Yeah, I want to point something out about Sajasi. And granted, a lot of this had to do with the fact that Arenado missed a big chunk of time in the second half. But if Arenado's traded, that basically means you're in the same position.
Yeah.
So last season, after the All-Star break, the guys in order, 1, 2, and 3, who had the most plate appearances were Herrera, Burleson, and Sajasi.
Mm-hmm.
And Walker.
Yeah.
Wah, wah. Anyway, but Sajasi got a lot of run after the break. And he hit 270. He got on base 32% of the time. His slugging percentage was it was about 350, but I think he's got more power there. I mean, he's still developing at the big league level.
Yeah.
He did okay.
Yeah, and I think that another thing we talked about with the creativity, right? Matt and I did earlier, Bernie. We were talking about, hey, It's okay to once in a while have a bullpen day instead of calling up somebody to make a start if you don't have anybody that's ready or good. You can use bullpen days. You can be more creative. I also think they can do a better job moving forward than they have in the past of playing some favorite platoon splits. And I'm not saying platoon everybody or all the lefties, but just trying to take some advantage of what you have.
Yeah, I think that's something they can do better, but they got to balance it out. And,
Correct.
It's a little tough because Contreras, was their best right-handed hitter.
Yes.
Now he's gone.
That's real
But
tough.
everybody knew that. I mean, you had to make that trade. You just had to.
Totally.
He the Cardinals wouldn't be close to being any kind of contender in his final 2 years here, and I think they did pretty good in the trade.
Yep.
Although the haters will hate it because they hate everything. But the other thing too that I like about all these moves, these two big trades plus the Dustin May signing, all of a sudden you look up. Remember we were talking about, rightfully so, like, well, the Cardinals starting pitching depth. Geez. Well, now you look up. There's seven guys.
Yeah.
Libator, May, McGreevy, Fitz, Dobbins, Leahy, and Palante. And Palante deserves to at least be mentioned in the pool.
Yes.
That's 7 guys. And I'm thinking Liam Doyle, and I'm thinking Quinn Matthews at some point in 2026 will be up here too. So all of a sudden the Cardinals are going to have a lot of starting pitching.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're all Paul Skeens.
No.
But the one thing you got to do is establish some depth so you have some options.
Yeah.
If one or two of your guys need a blow or they're not feeling good or they're not pitching well.
Yeah.
I like them having options, and they have some now.
Yeah, and you throw in Bryson Motts, throw in Ishan Henderson. I mean, no, that's a nice group of players that are going to be between AA and the majors that give you, and a lot of them at AAA too. It's going to give you a lot of guys that you don't have to be panicked and desolate if somebody misses 4 starts because of an injury.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be real competition for that 5th spot, and if there's an injury for a 4th and 5th spot in spring, nobody's getting paid more than they should be paid. You've got young, controllable talent. It's a really good spot they're in. It's the first time in a while they've been in a spot where you don't look at it and say, well, you're paying a 5-starter like a 2-starter. Like you're just not in that spot anymore.
No, and it's a really tough place to be. All right, we got to get a little bit early so Matt can get going and be on that press conference with Chaim Bloom. So, Matt, if you got time and it happens right, we'll check in with you later. Otherwise, we'll talk to you soon. Bernie and I will be back coming up after the news here on Rush Hour Sports on KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
The return trip of Shuttle Columbia.
There when the world stood still.
Columbia's 7 astronauts complete their nearly 16-day-long mission.
824 at KMOX, we are now getting a bulletin. The Space Shuttle Columbia is overdue for landing at this time.
NASA has ordered flight controllers to pull out emergency procedures.
Again, this could be just a radio problem. They could be fine, just on their way in and on a glide.
Flight controllers continue to seek communications with the Columbia.
There was a very ominous word, the word debris.
Search and rescue teams in the Dallas-Fort Worth vicinity have been alerted.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by the Polar Express at St. Louis Union Station. Get your tickets now at stlpolarexpressride.com.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-269-3454. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-269-3454 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-269-3454 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-269-3454.
more. This holiday season, when you get them STIHL, batteries are included. Buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit STIHLUSA.com for gift ideas and seasonal savings. Happy holidays from STIHL. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
At 5:30, the news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got 48 degrees downtown at the Arch. The Kansas City Chiefs are crossing state lines, announcing intentions to move from the current home in Missouri to Kansas by 2031. Clark Hunt is chairman and CEO of the team.
As he moved the team from the Cotton Bowl to Municipal Stadium to Arrowhead Stadium, his focus in every instance was to give the fans the best possible experience. Today is another step in that legacy of innovation and that fan-first mentality.
The team entered into the agreement today with Kansas after the state approved plans for a new domed stadium on the Kansas side. Since there's been no winner in the Powerball drawings, tonight's jackpot is up to about $1.6 billion. John Baird in Hawthorne, California, talking with people who hope they'll have the lucky ticket.
The odds are definitely stacked against you, close to 1 in 300 million, and yet many people take the attitude it's worth a shot. Are you getting 1? Are you getting 10? Or
100.
Are you really?
Yeah, why not?
I bought a ticket myself. Another man also bought some tickets.
Oh, I just bought 2, man.
2?
Yeah.
What do you think your chances are? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm hoping I can win, man. I've been playing a long time.
The holiday rush is on with millions of people set to take to the rails, the skies, and the roads to get out of town.
8 million will take to the skies, but according to AAA, 110 million will drive. And some here along the New Jersey Turnpike will go the distance.
We're leaving New York City for the first time ever, visiting there for Christmas holiday, and we're from North Carolina.
I'm from Florida, actually. I came up to visit for Christmas, and now I'm headed back. It's gonna take us 2 days. We'll stop overnight.
AAA says the best time to travel pre-Christmas and the day after is any time before 10 a.m. Marla Diamond for CBS News, New York.
A charity turkey shoot in North Carolina is a holiday tradition with no ruffled feathers.
The main misconception is they think we shoot live turkeys out here. We do not. We shoot at targets.
That's former Lodge Governor Glenn Copeland talking about the holiday turkey shoots at Moose Lodge 1318 in Wake Forest, North Carolina. 3 nights a week from late October through Christmas. Shooters compete for cash, baby back ribs, a ham, and yes, a turkey. It's a tradition that goes back to pioneer times when competitors shot at real turkeys tied in place. Copeland says the lodge has managed to fight off annexation by a city that restricts the shooting of guns.
It is actually city limits all the way around us. Our piece of property is still county. They have left us county just so we can shoot because you cannot shoot inside the city limits.
Proceeds go toward various charities, including a big Thanksgiving dinner for area seniors and an angel tree surrounded by Christmas gifts for needy children. I'm Mike Hempen.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center for tonight, partly cloudy, low 46. For tomorrow, sunshine, high 62. For Christmas Eve, we've got some clouds and a high of 69 degrees. Right now, it's 48. The feels like 41 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Hey, Missouri, if you haven't heard by now, FanDuel Sportsbook is live here in the Show Me State, and they're kicking things off with an offer that is really tough to beat. So right now, new customers can bet $5 and then get $300 in bonus bets. Whether you win or lose that initial $5 bet, you get those $300 bonus bets either direction. And it doesn't matter what you're choosing. Whether it's football, basketball, hockey, you can bet it all on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. I've been on it since the app launched years ago. I just couldn't play in Missouri until now. Now I get to, and you can do. So download FanDuel today or head to FanDuel.com/Missouri to join in on the excitement, because Missouri, it's time to play your game with FanDuel. Remember, 21 and older and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
At Graybar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Graybar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Bernie Miklasz here on behalf of Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin Comfort dealer. You know, the Saliga family's been taking care of generations of St. Louis family continuously since 1927. 100 years just about. I mean, how amazing is that? And what does that tell you about how great Saliga Heating and Cooling is? I mean, you last this long and you're going strong, and more families are calling you for help with their heating and cooling. I think you've passed every credibility check there is. And I can vouch for this because the Miklasz family has come to really, really appreciate Saliga Heating and Cooling for as long as we've been calling them, 18 years, because they always take good care of us. They're prompt. They are professional. They're classy in your home. They don't try to talk you into something. They don't try to hustle you to get you to agree to a more expensive repair job for your air or heating or whatever. No, they always look for less expensive solutions. So in terms of trust and credibility, 100%. That's why you never want anything to go wrong with your heating and cooling. But when we do, something happens, we have great comfort because we know Saliga Heating and Cooling is on the way. And they can be on the way for you to help you out. If you want to find out more about everything they do, including the Priority Club maintenance plan, it'll save you money by extending the life of your current equipment. Just visit their site and get the phone number at SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Thank you.
Thank you, St. Louis, for making Genesis of St. Charles the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2025. We know your time is valuable. That's why every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. Unlock your e-price and save. That means complimentary vehicle pickup and delivery, plus a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. Or want something new? We'll bring the test drive to you. Visit GenesisofStCharles.com during the Genesis Signature Event. Based on GMA sales records for 2024. See dealer for details.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Got any gadgets? Get online protection. NordVPN has a ho-ho holiday deal just for you. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro feature helps you avoid malware, phishing, and annoying trackers. Just a few taps and you're safer online. Let your gadgets sparkle with online security. Go to NordVPN.com and get up to 77% off plus 3 extra months. NordVPN.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-941-2255. That's 800-941-2255.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, there's still no change, unfortunately, on Highway 70 eastbound out at Forestel. Eastbound 70 west of Forestel shut down due to a fatal pedestrian-struck crash accident. They are diverting traffic off eastbound 70 at Wright City. Eastbound 70 is jammed about midway back to Warrenton up to Wright City, and then, unfortunately, folks are stuck in that jam east of there up to the crash scene. Westbound 70 backs up David Hokel Parkway out past the eastbound activity, obviously. They just cleared a crash. Southbound 270 just before 370. Traffic still backed up approaching McDonald Boulevard. We got a new one, South 270 just north of 55. It's on the right shoulder and in the center lane, so traffic's jammed pretty close to Tess on Ferry. Southbound 170 backs up at the Parkway, eastbound 64 heavy, east of Lindbergh all the way into Big Bend. On the Rock Road at the Interbelt, we have a report of a crash there as well. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
From our family at Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation to yours. Happy holidays.
You want to hurry this up, Mark? I'm freezing my baguettes off.
Relax, Grandpa. Air Comfort Service is on their way. Aubrey, you're not doing anything. You want to let me know when they get here?
Honey, her eyes are frozen shut. Gus.
Avoid a 5-alarm emergency with an HVAC system check from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Learn more at aircomfortservice.com.
This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, it's Rush Hour Sports here on a Monday. Matt had to leave us for at least a few minutes, maybe the rest of the run. Depends on how long the press conference takes with Chaim Bloom. So that started at 5:30, and Matt is there making sure he's taking care of business. And if there's anything newsworthy, he'll text us or jump back on the stream and let us know. Anything that we didn't get to yet, Bern, on the baseball side that we should before we think about talking about anything else?
There was just one minor move today. They picked up, they signed Jared Schuster, a lefty reliever, to a minor league contract. So I went on StatCast, and I'll just say this because I don't want to get into all the gobbledygook. But if you go to StatCast, you can, for people who haven't done that, you just enter whoever's name, whatever player you want.
Mm-hmm.
You just put Jordan Walker, StatCast, and you get a link.
Yep.
And so anyway, Jared Schuster, the thing that's interesting about him, like his fastball's terrible, like his velocity's terrible.
Yep.
But what you want to see in StatCast, you want to see a lot of red. They have these graphic bars.
Yes.
You want to see a lot of red. You don't want to see blue. This lefty, the crafty lefty, he's got a lot of red, and hitters just do not hit the ball hard off of him.
Nope.
The exit velocity off of him is really low.
Yep.
Things of that nature. So, they have two lefties now. Romero and Nick Rackett. Is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this would be a third lefty. I think they're going to be trying to take a look at some different lefties. So, but I thought Schuster was just a guy. My point being, overwhelming, no, but he apparently knows how to pitch, or you wouldn't see all that red in his profile.
You're right.
Red is good. Red is good.
Yeah, where he's red is he does average exit velo against, so he doesn't give up hard contact. He gets chase, which is a really good thing. He's got a really elite chase rate. Doesn't walk people. Doesn't give up a lot of barrels. So, obviously there's something. And keep in mind, his ERA last year, it's very small sample size, right? He only pitched 15 innings in the big leagues last year. His ERA was 8.06, but his expected ERA was 4.40, which tells you that he had some bad luck working against him.
Yeah.
What's really interesting about him is that in 2023, coming into 2023, MLB.com had him as the Braves' number one prospect.
No kidding.
Yeah, 2023, he was listed as their number one prospect. He's got a great changeup. That's his best pitch. If they can find a way to tweak the fastball, either turn it into a sinker, find a way to get the spin rate up, maybe cut it, whatever. I mean, because actually a cut would work great with the change because they go opposite. So, there are ways to tweak this. And you and I have seen this forever, Bernie. A lot of these guys, he's worked mostly as a starter all his life. He's got some relief experience, but mostly he's been a starter in the minor leagues. And he's got, again, in the majors, he's been more of a reliever the last couple of years. Not unusual to see lefties in their late 20s, early 30s figure out how to be lefty relievers after years of trying to start. It's a good gamble. It's not a lock. He may never pitch a game for the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's a minor league contract.
Right, but it's an interesting guy because for absolutely nothing, just a minor league deal, you've got a guy with a really good changeup with some nice peripherals and one pitch that's really good, and that's the change.
So we'll see what he does.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll get a good long look in spring training.
And to kind of tie that together, Bern, I do think that may be not an indicator because we've seen the reports, but it's certainly an insurance plan in case you trade Jojo Romero.
Well, yeah, but I would hope that they could maybe somehow bring in someone who would be more effective or more proven.
More proven for sure.
Yeah.
Because they're very lefty deficient at near the major league level in terms of guys that would be bullpen guys. You know, I mean, you could slide Bryson Motts into that kind of a role, but it's too early for that. He was just one of your best minor leaguers this year as a starter. Same thing with Eshaun Henderson. So there may be some guys that down the road that are lefty starters now that could be relievers, but for the short term, it's going to be about stability and trying to just make sure that you don't have a gaping hole in your bullpen.
I think, and I could be wrong, but I think the Cardinals are going to be changing a lot in terms of how they use pitchers. I think, now that Chaim Bloom's in charge and he's got all those smart people around him, and Matt Pierpont, the director of pitching, is really brilliant. We may see some things we haven't seen before in terms of pitcher usage,
Yeah.
And it'll drive some people crazy because anything that's not by the book and traditional, and that's okay. I actually like it, especially if you're shorthanded in some ways. You got to find ways to compensate for that. So you try to do different things.
Yeah.
Like use the opener. But it's going to be really interesting to see exactly what they do here, because they're going to have a lot of starting pitching depth. And it doesn't mean the people that are not in the rotation, it doesn't mean they're getting a ticket to Memphis. That's my point.
Good point.
You're going to have 6 guys, 7 guys. And if you feel like there's a way a guy can help you in a relief role and maybe he can go back and forth, I don't think there are too many guardrails. I think they're going to be as resourceful as they could be. And that's smart. That's the way they should look at it.
Yeah. Part of the challenge for all of us that are observing is just not trying to decide in advance what they're going to do, because we haven't seen these guys do this.
That's right.
I mean, did their usage of pitching in the past? I mean, last year, I sat here for months complaining that they wouldn't try an opener with guys like Miklasz and Fetty who were getting killed early in games, and skip the best hitters in the other team's lineup and get them more looks at the bottom of the order rather than the top of the order. But they wouldn't do it. It wasn't even a consideration. And I hope that some of those things are, even though I'm not a big fan of the opener, I'm not a big fan of just taking a punch in the face. Try something different when things aren't working.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, the Cardinals, I don't have the numbers in front of me, obviously. The Cardinals were terrible in terms of, especially those couple guys you mentioned started. But generally speaking, it wasn't just those 2 guys. The Cardinals gave up way too many runs in the first inning, second inning, first 3 innings. They were at a deficit early. So, you don't wait till you're bleeding profusely to put the Band-Aid on. Go out there with go out there with some armor, go out there to protect yourself and grind out 2 innings without throwing batting practice. And that's what, listen, and I know, because you and I talk about it. Not a lot of people will actually talk about it in the media. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's one thing I got to see from Ollie Marmol. Now he's going to have a new boss. And I think Chaim Bloom will have some philosophies about how you deploy pitchers. Ollie's got to stop worrying about hurting somebody's feelings.
Yes.
He's just got to stop. And Chaim Bloom will be great for Ollie Marmol, because there is a way that he believes you use your personnel, just like every other guy running a baseball team does. So it's not like, he's Chaim Bloom's puppet because I'm lazy and stupid and that's all I can come up with.
Right.
No, they all answer to the front office, every single one of them.
Of course they do.
Even Bruce Bochy was doing that when he was managing Texas, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Dave Roberts does, and he does nothing but win with the Dodgers out in L.A. All right, so barring any news from our buddy Matt Pauley coming back from a Chaim Bloom presser, we'll just jump into the bragging rights game when we come back here on Rush Hour Sports.
All right.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. People say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So, looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Here's a tale of Tina searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Till Good RX wrote in, hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags that are red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Hot foot at thegoodrx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
This is Kyle Bush with Cringe Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. How many times have you changed jobs over the years? If you're like many professionals, you may have left behind one or more 401ks. Unwatched, unmanaged, and potentially your largest retirement asset. Just because it's out of sight doesn't mean it should be out of mind. Let's make sure it's working as hard for your future as you are. Your goals, our mission, start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Servicing. Member FINRA/SIPC. Prince Financial Group is not a broker-dealer.
Give the best of Broadway right here in St. Louis. Muni season tickets are on sale now, just in time for the holidays. Our 2026 season includes Hairspray, Shrek the Musical, South Pacific, Disney's Newsies, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, Meet Me in St. Louis, and Something Rotten. See all 7 shows starting at just $126. For tickets, visit muni.org.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, unfortunately, there's still no change with eastbound 70 out west of Forestell. It's still shut down from that fatal crash investigation that's ongoing. Eastbound 70, they're diverting traffic off into Wright City at the first Wright City exit. Traffic's jammed back past the Wright City rest area, and of course east of there it's jammed up to the crash where it shut down just west of Forestell. The North Service Road looks better than Veterans Memorial Parkway on the south side, but they're both tough, and those are the only alternates you have nearby. Westbound 70, by the way, is backed up David Holcomb Parkway out to the crash scene, but no westbound lane restrictions. Also see an incident eastbound at Cave Springs. Heavy traffic both ways on 70 at that point. An injury crash south 270 just before 55. Only the 2 left lanes are open. South 270, a solid jam back to Gravois. Eastbound 64 east of Lindbergh into Big Bend. That's pretty heavy. North 170 approaching the Rock Road has a backup. There was a crash on the Rock Road at 170 just a short time ago. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Rush Hour Sports continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, Rush Hour Sports on a Monday, getting ready to wrap it up here in a few minutes. Bernie Miklasz, Kevin Wheeler with you here till top of the hour, and then we've got Monday Night Football following that. You got the Niners and the Colts here on KMOX. We also have bragging rights tonight, Bern, and, you know, it's a bummer that we only have a few minutes to spend on it. Obviously, we're the Cardinals flagship, so we're going to always spend our time on the Cardinals first when things are happening. But this is one of the best pre-conference rivalry matchups in the country every year. It should be a fun game this week, this week tonight. But I'm really feeling good about the Illini tonight. I think they're in the better spot coming into this one.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like if you look, for example, strength of schedule this year. Mizzou's strength of schedule is number 361, according to Ken Palm. And the Illini are like in the top 35, top 40 of strength of schedule. And you look at who the Illini have beat this year. That, you know, they've got wins against Texas Tech, which is 24th. They got a win over Tennessee, which is 15th. They have a win over Ohio State, which was 40th. And they've lost to 2 really good teams, UConn, number 7, and they also lost to Nebraska, who's surprisingly good. Mizzou's best win this year is against Minnesota. And then if you look at some of the other teams they've beat, it's like no disrespect, but forget about it. Right. You know, Grand Canyon, Santa Clara, San Francisco, whatever. What the game will come down to, listen, in terms of the metrics, Illinois is much better than Mizzou offensively and much better than Mizzou defensively. I mean, it's not even close. But when you factor in the strength of schedule, that makes it even more lopsided. But here's the thing: we you know, for people that are unfamiliar about, okay, well, what do we watch? What's the key to the game? Illinois, they shoot an average of 29 threes per game. 46% of their shots from the floor are threes. And Mizzou defensively is not very good in terms of slowing down or stopping threes. In fact, the big criticism of Mizzou's defense is they give shooters too many open looks. So the Illini are going to be firing threes, and if a reasonable number of them go in, they win. If they have a dreadful shooting night, Mizzou will have a chance.
There you go. Nice and easy. All right, Matt Pauley has jumped back in from the Heimblum presser, and we only have about 2 minutes. Matt, did we hear anything that you thought was interesting?
team is still in the market for a veteran starting pitcher, that they are not done potentially adding starting pitching, that they don't have to do that, but it is something that they would like. They definitely still want to add a veteran relief pitcher. It looks like Burleson, as we would expect, is going to be the everyday first baseman. That's going to open up some availability in the outfield. Talked about really wanting a right-handed bat now to add to the roster for this upcoming season because they don't have much of anything from the right side. Would be open to bringing in a guy who could be an everyday type player from the right side, or somebody who could come off the bench or be a platoon type guy. And even said there's now a potential for looking for a right-handed bat on the infield as well, depending on what happens. So you get the he talked about the fact that there is some money going out, and there is going to be the opportunity to reinvest. They're excited about the guys they've got coming back in. They want to see what Dobbins looks like off the injury, and get eyes on him at the start of spring training. But they're encouraged by what they're hearing and what they're seeing, say on like social media videos. So that was kind of the general gist of what he had to say today.
Great.
Kind of like it. Yeah, Bern, I like that. I like that idea of, you're not going big, but bringing in more help so that you can rebuild without being bad.
Yeah, you solidify roster spots, and you can do it economically.
Yeah.
And that's one of Heimblum's strength wherever he's been. Like payroll efficiency, and he tends to find good players that will perform above their salary level. Not all the time, because nobody bats 1,000, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
They get their money's worth.
Fascinating stuff. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, again, there's a lot of areas still to address. And, by the way, there are always guys left when the music stops. There's always a few guys there as you get later into January, getting into February, where you might be able to take advantage. All right, boys. Hey, Merry Christmas to you guys. I won't talk to you before we get there. So Bernie and Matt, Merry Christmas, you guys.
Merry Christmas.
We have Monday Night Football coming up here on KMOX. So no Sports Open Line tonight. And tomorrow night is Countdown, right, Matt?
Yep.
So Countdown to Opening Day will be tomorrow night for KMOX listeners. But you got Monday Night Football coming up next here on your home for the Cardinals, KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by NordVPN.